this is Joe from Canna Comfort Care, and today I'm going to show you how to make CBD infused bath bombs. Woohoo! I am here to tell you, after a long day of ATV riding, motorcycle riding, golfing, playing with the grandkids, gardening, we can ache. We sure can. You put one of these bath bombs in your bath at night, soak for about 10 to 20 minutes, and I'm here to tell you the relief is unbelievable. But be careful. Do not drive. Do not operate heavy equipment after. These bath bombs are not only a nice pain relief, but oh my goodness, you will be relaxed. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And what I've done is I have put a PDF file at the bottom of this video. So if you want to run it off and follow along with that, be super fantastic. There is one thing I would like to mention, that you gather all your materials and your equipment before starting, because this is a fast process, and you don't want to be halfway in the middle and have to go look for something, because you will end up with one very big bath bomb instead of one in molds. With that said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start with the first step, which is preparing our CBD so that we can add it to our mix and our bath bombs. There are two different ways I'm going to show you how to do this. One, you can either use an already made tincture, which has CBD and oil in it. What we have here is a 1200 milligram, which means that we have 1 milligram per drop. Makes it pretty easy to measure. The other way is to use a CBD isolate. And an isolate comes in a powdered form and is 99.9% CBD. So for all purposes, we'll call it 1 gram is 1000 milligrams. Makes it pretty darn easy to measure. So if I want, like my mixture is going to make 5 bath bombs, I want them 50 milligrams of CBD each. I'll need to add 250 milligrams of CBD powder. Now, again, at the bottom of this PDF, I've got some easy conversion charts for you, as well as using measurements, which aren't as exact, but they're pretty darn close. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a empty cur jar or any kind of a glass jar with a lid that we can put in hot water. I am going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. Now, the oil you add, you can add grapeseed oil. I personally like olive oil because I like the smoothness of it. It's really nice for the skin. It also helps uptake CBD into your system fairly fast. And it's something that a lot of people already have in their kitchens. Okay, so I've got the 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm going to add 250 milligrams of CBD isolate, which is 0.25 if you're going to weigh by gram, and add that directly to the cur jar that already has the oil in it. Okay. So what I do here is I've got the cur jar with the oil in it, with the isolate in it, and you might be able to see that it still has some lumps and it's not completely melded together. So what we'll be doing is we will be putting this on the stove, adding water that comes up to about here. But I also put in a cloth so that when this is on the burner, it doesn't crack the glass. So I've got my pot and pan, and some water. And we're going to go ahead and fill up this pan so that we can heat the CBD and the oil together and come up with a nice mixture that's activated and ready to go. So this gets put in here. I'm going to go ahead and put this on my stove and let it heat up, not quite boiling, for about 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and get ready to start making the bath bombs. Let's go ahead and start mixing up our mixtures, filling up our molds, and get our bath bombs made. what we're going to do is mix the dry ingredients. And with the dry ingredients, we can mix them either using the scales, which we would want to put a container on it and tar it, or like I'm going to do today with measuring cups. Let's start out first with a half a cup of Epsom salts. And Epsom salts is super fantastic. It naturally detoxifies your body. And an added bonus to Epsom salts is that it helps uptake the CBD better, so that the CBD can attach and activate the CB receptors that are just below your skin. So then we're going to add a half a cup of citric acid. Citric acid is the ingredients that activates with the soda and makes all those fun bubbles, the party in the bathtub. Next is 3/4 of a cup of cornstarch. This will help bind things together. And we'll measure off the side. There we go. And 1/4 of a cup. Made quite the mess, didn't I? Okay, there's 3/4 of a cup there. And then 1 cup of baking soda. Half a cup. And stubborn Norman. 1 cup. All right, we've got all those ready to go. So what we want to do now is we want to really get in here and mix all of these ingredients around. We want to make sure that we've got an excellent mix before we start adding our liquid. Woo-wee! We're making up a brew, aren't we? And you can really tell once you're mixing. And like I said, you can either use a whisk or you can use a spoon. I just happen to like using my hands and gloves. I like getting in there. But I don't want the oils of my hands coming off onto the ingredients here. And that's why I wear the gloves. Alrighty, looking good. Now, what we'll want to do next is we want to add our liquid that we mixed up a little earlier. Go ahead and shake it because it will separate on you. And we'd like to get a good mixture of everything together. So, very slowly, we're going to add the liquid. Now, what can happen if you add it too fast is that you can do what they call volcanoing, and it'll start to bubble up. If it does that on you, just go ahead and get it mixed in, and then add a little at a time. Okay. I'm mixing this in, like I said, pretty good. Take my time. This is the time that you just kind of want to meditate. But no, actually, we want to do this fairly quick because we don't want it to set up before it's in the molds. So real consistent, get it in there, mix it around, and you can tell that you're mixing. I'm not sure if you can see this, but you'll just want to mix some of the lumps out where the liquid has lumped up. And if you do it nice and slow like this, then you get a good distribution of the CBD and the oils in each one of your bombs. Yeah, did a little bubbling up on me that time. A little impatient, didn't I? I like to use a spatula so we can go ahead and get all of the goodness out of this jar. All right. Now that I've got a fairly good mix, I want to test to see if I'm clumping well enough. And this clumps okay, but I'm thinking I might need a little bit more moisture. Go ahead and mix it up some more, just in case it's me. And not needing necessarily more water. And I like to use a spray bottle. That way You only put a little bit of water in at a time, and it distributes a lot more evenly. Okay, that is starting to make, a form. Now, with these forms, you can use molds like I'm using today, or like I mentioned, you can use muffin tins, any open kind of mold where it can pop out. You don't want it to be a mold that claps around so that you can't get it out. And this is starting to set up real nice. I'm going to do a couple of more squirts of water. Better safe than sorry here. And I'm going to go ahead and start filling up the molds. These are the molds, if you remember, that we went ahead and greased. And I'm going to push some in, and I'm going to push down on it. I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on this mold. I'm going to fill up its partner side, and I'm going to press down on it. And on this one, I'm going to add a little extra so that it kind of is sitting on top. What that'll do is once I put these molds together, it'll ensure that I've got a good connection. All right, let's put those puppies together. Squeeze them a little bit. And I've got one done. So I'm going to go ahead and do these and tell you that you want to let them rest for about 24 hours. Let them dry. Pop them out of your molds. And then keep them in a sealed bag. You can keep them up till 6 months if you want to. These are absolutely, absolutely wonderful. They're wonderful for ourselves. Remember this one, I'm going to put a little extra in. They're wonderful for ourselves. They're wonderful for our friends and families. If you've got allergies to essential oils, you don't even have to use them. You really don't. All right, we'll press that one together. We've got another one going. You guys, check out the PDF. And we'll see you all later. I'm hoping our next video might be on CBD infused smoothies. Let's start the day out right.